lose my breath whenever I see you. You stole my heart, what is it that you do? My life was great till you added colors. Like the moon needs the sun, we don't care about the others. You set my world on fire.
Hi everybody, welcome to our channel. Today's video we're gonna do an update on our pregnancy, how it's going. This is the present, but we're gonna talk about a few weeks back. At our 20-week checkup, which was, I was actually 19 weeks, 6 days, which, 20 weeks. We went to our full anatomy scan, and if you've been pregnant before or you've had kids before, gone through a pregnancy before, you know how a very anxious appointment doesn't make sense. No, it's nerve-wracking. That's what I was looking for. It's a very nerve-wracking appointment just because they're gonna go through your baby's full anatomy, like every single bone, checking that everything is there and that everything is working properly. So as some of you may know, we were pregnant before with twins, and around this time was when they were telling us all the bad things that were going on, which was, I want to say it was like 2-3 weeks before our 20 week, but they were doing the full anatomy scan early with the twins. But since it's only one baby, they wait till you're about halfway there. So at this scan, I'm just laying there, Jared's with me. The ultrasound tech doesn't say anything to you. Well, most of the time they never say anything to you because they're just the tech and they have to wait for the doctor to tell you. So then they did all the pictures, and it took forever because the baby wasn't really cooperating. She had her hand right here, just like that. And so they couldn't get pictures of her heart. And also her jawbone, right? Her jawbone, they couldn't get that. So finally they stopped and they said, you know what, we're gonna have you come back next week. But with all the pictures that they did see, they sent us into the room to talk to the doctor. And finally the doctor comes in, and I'm just praying, like, please just tell me everything is perfect, everything looks great, that's all I want to hear. But he didn't. He said that most of them look good, but he did see some spots on her kidneys, and then they couldn't see this part, so they needed to take the picture some more, and also the heart part. But he said, I'm not really worried, but the fact that they'll say, and that it's not, you don't hear the word great or good or excellent, it just triggers you. At least it did to me.
Yeah, I would say the whole experience was triggering. I think it was the first ultrasound I went to during this pregnancy.
Yeah, he hasn't really been too much since he's been working.
I was working
all the time.
And it was difficult for me to get off because I had taken a lot of time off with Annabella being sick and stuff. So yeah, I just remember getting up that morning, and just even the drive down there, I started feeling anxious, and a lot of that was because all of our previous experience with our boys, right up to the point where we found out they were twins, or everything after that point, the doctor visits were always very scary, and there was a lot of bad news. And every time we would go hoping for some good news, it was always, here's one more thing we found, here's one more thing that we found. And every time we would be leaving, more concerned, more worried, more scared for the boys, for good reason. But we knew going into this pregnancy that things were different, but it doesn't change the fact that you still feel those same,
emotions.
And it kind of brings it all back, like it triggers all those feelings. So just going to the doctor, just the drive there made me anxious. Sitting in the room, the same room where we, heard about our boys had passed, was a trigger, and we sat there for a long time. It's a long process, so you sit there when they're making all the measurements, getting all the data and information.
It was like an hour, I think, or maybe a little bit over an hour.
Yeah, and it took a while. There was another person in the room too that was like a tech person going over the machine with the person doing our ultrasound, so that was a little odd. But then you go into the room and you get the news that they see something on the kidneys, and again, that's just another trigger.
Yeah.
Like, all you want to hear after what we went through with our previous pregnancy is everything looked great, baby's doing perfect,
yeah,
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
yeah.
And that's not what we heard. We hear that there's the spotting on the lungs, or on the kidneys. And we dealt with the spot with Aiden. He had a really large spot.
That wasn't his kidney, it was his bladder.
Oh, that's right, it was a bladder.
No. Thankfully, everything else is okay with the baby. But the spotting, he said there were white spots, but he told me that he thought it was something from my placenta, some hormones that my placenta is releasing. He's like, I bet you anything, if I do ultrasound on your kidneys will look the same as hers. So, what does that mean, you know? So, he's just gonna run more tests.
Common, and that he wants us to take another blood test, and the blood test would
that would be more in depth.
Make it definitive as to whether or not there's any chromosomal concerns.
Yeah, because he did talk about, he also brought the word, you know, that's a soft marker for Down syndrome. And, you know, if this baby were to have Down syndrome, it doesn't matter. We are going to love her regardless. But that's scary, you know, to just get that news. Because you want to hear your baby is perfect. Your baby's just doing great.
I think just hearing the word chromosomal, that there can be any concerns that are chromosomal is scary, because with the boys, that was all chromosomal issues that Aiden had. All of the problems with his, with missing a bone, his heart, all of these things were chromosomal problems. It pointed to some very rare chromosomal concern or issue that he had. So you don't want to hear that with this pregnancy. You want to know that chromosomally, everything, if that's
looks
a word,
great,
everything looks great. So when he came back, and again, it's that trick that he comes back and he uses the word that there could be something wrong chromosomal with the baby, that we want to take this blood test just to rule it out. And you know,
and also because he's like, we used to do this on every single pregnancy and every single pregnant woman, but insurances started cutting it because I guess it's a really expensive test, so they had to go and ask my insurance for permission. And I want to say about 4 days later, they called me and said that my insurance had approved it and I could go back in for the blood test, which is just them taking blood from me. There's nothing, you know, going into the baby or anything like that. But it was, the way he described it was, they take my blood and subtract my DNA, which gives them the baby's DNA. Right? That's exactly how he described it.
I remember him.
It was something like that. He just said it would give them the baby's DNA, and that's how they could figure it out. And that took, I want to say, like a week and a half. So now here we are 5 weeks later, and we've already gotten the results. Everything looks great. I actually went back the following week after that first ultrasound, after that full anatomy scan, and they took the pictures that they were missing. So they had me move around a lot, they had me tilted, they had me pee, they had me do so many things so that she could move, because apparently this is like her favorite spot. She was like that again. And yeah, they got her jawbone, her heart looks good, everything else looks great, and the test came out great. They said it was great news and everything looks good. So up to now, thank God, everything looks great. Baby's healthy, and we're very happy.
I'm very happy.
Yeah.
And I think part of the reason why we wanted to come on here, obviously we just wanted to do an update, but also anyone, even with your first pregnancy, I think it's a very nerve-wracking experience. You're always just a little concerned that you're going to get some news that you don't want. Yeah. Whether it's major or even minor. You just want to know everything's perfect. Yeah. So even with Annabella, we had a lot of, you know...
I don't even think we discussed that, because when I was pregnant with Annabella, we didn't
really vlog it too much.
I did do updates, but I never talked about the bad things, you know? Yeah. And I wish well, I don't know. Maybe I wish I would have, so I could help somebody, if, you know, to know it's okay. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a process. I mean, it's a 9-month process. Within that 9 months, there's going to be concerns, there's going to be fears, there's going to be things that you're worried about. With Annabella, I remember the big one was when you had to go see the high-risk doctor because of concerns of Zika.
Yeah, we had been out of the country.
And although up to that point, all the measurements and everything look good, it's just there's always something that just kind of weighs on you a little bit. And I know with this pregnancy, because of what we went through with our twins, everything was a little more magnified. Even when we first got pregnant, just from the very beginning, just going back to the doctor's office for the first time since receiving the bad news that we lost the boys was scary. You know? And I think if you're somebody who's been through that, if you're, you know, having your pregnant and on your rainbow baby now, I think it's good to know that it's, in our opinion, it's a normal feeling to be scared and to be overly concerned. And you know, you want to just enjoy the process, but even when we look back on the first pregnancy, it was stressful even then, and it starts to make you go, oh, once this baby's happy and healthy and she's home and we're good, then that's it, we're not going through this again. But of course you do. But
even then, I will say, up until they told me that everything, you know, after the test, the more tests they ran on me, I feel better. I feel more at ease. I feel like I really need to just relax and enjoy this pregnancy, because the baby feels it too. You know, I'm stressed, the baby's stressed. Yeah. But I feel like I could just kind of like breathe, and I don't know, it might sound bad to say this, but I don't want to take her for granted, because I wanted to with the boys, you know, just feel like they're gonna be here. It's gonna be okay. And I don't know, I don't want to think that way though, because,
and I think that's normal. I know obviously with Annabella's pregnancy we celebrated a lot, but with the boys I think we really were gung-ho about celebrating everything, and with this pregnancy we were obviously a lot more cautious and a lot more reserved on sharing our story, which is why we waited a long time before we even put it out there. So why we didn't have a big get-together like we did for the boys' gender reveal. We just kind of slowly, gradually released it out to family members and then out to friends, just kind of letting people know, sharing it with you guys. It's just a different experience, and I think part of it is you're cautious, but you're just wanting to make sure that everything turns out great, and you're being hopeful, but at the same time you can't shake that feeling in the back of your head that, you know, that worry and concern just kind of sits there.
Now with this crazy world that we're living in right now, it's very scary. Like I'm really hoping that by the time she's here, things will be different, things will be better, but I'm really scared because I feel like, you know, at this point they're not even letting husbands in the hospital. It's just the mother having the baby, and to me that's very scary. Mine's gonna be a C-section. I don't want to be by myself. I want him to be right there with me. I just hope things are better by then.
Yeah, and it's hopefully will be. We're talking a few months from now, so all we can do is stay positive and hope that
we got
things settle
15
down.
weeks to go.
And people practice that social distancing so that we can reduce the spread and flatten that curve, as they say. And just, it's all about reducing the risk to the healthcare people, and, you know, making sure that the hospitals aren't overloaded, trying to deal with the day-to-day stuff like pregnancies. There's people having babies right now in hospitals. Yeah. And, you know, we want to make sure that the hospitals can meet the needs of people who aren't just suffering from this terrible virus. But you want to show the pictures?
Yeah. These are the pictures that we received at our 20-week scan. Like I said, it was 19 weeks, 6 days. I believe I have shared some of these on Instagram, but this is her. This is our baby girl. This is her foot profile. Got more profile, and then like her leg. This is her body, and then this is her leg. Looks like a little chicken leg.
She's an active baby. Very,
very active. She loves to move around and kick me, especially at 4 in the morning. You know, like really, really early at dawn. But yeah, this is her cute little face. We've compared ultrasound pictures with Annabella and her. We believe that they are gonna look very, very alike just because of the ultrasound pictures, but you know, it's just us speculating. Yeah. So we'll see how she turns out to be. I'm sure she's beautiful in her own way.
She's gonna be gorgeous. Well, I just wanted to say that for those of you who are, you know, looking to get pregnant or having your first pregnancy and feeling those nerves, I think it's incredibly normal, and I don't think it ever goes away. I mean, even with Annabella, you're like, okay, this pregnancy is really stressing us out. I just want to get her home and her be happy and be safe. And then you have this new baby in your house, and now you're stressed out. It's like, oh my gosh, she was safer in the belly.
No. I remember with Annabella, I would always make sure her belly was moving, like, is she breathing?
Yes.
Oh, that's like a really, I still do that, you guys. It's
I don't think it's ever going to change. Obviously, with things going on right now, you know, I check her constantly to make sure she doesn't have a fever or a cough or anything like that. I mean, it's what being a parent is. It's a nerve-wracking, stressful, amazing, enjoyable experience.
Yes.
It's everything all wrapped up into one. And for those of you who are, you know, trying again or working on that rainbow baby and you're feeling a lot of that same fears and concerns, I just think that, you know, you should know it's a normal thing. Like, I don't think it's not unexpected. I mean, for us, it was just, at least in my, because it was really only my first time going to an ultrasound, just automatic. I didn't really have a whole lot of control. And I tend to maintain, you know, my emotions
He's usually
pretty well.
my rock, because when my doctor first said all those things and walks out of the room, I'm immediately just panicking.
I got to be the voice of reason, basically making her understand that a lot of this is business, you know, because she was at the age and they saw the spotting on the kidneys. She met the criteria that they could actually go to
to test some more.
They could actually go to the insurance companies and say, hey, can we do this test? If she hadn't met that criteria, those insurance companies would have just said no, and most of them do. So I looked at it as, hey, he's going to run every test he can and be as thorough as he can, because in the medical industry, that's what they're going to do. It's kind of how they make their money.
But I'm glad.
But all it did for us was cause a lot of stress up until we got the news. But that's the other side of the coin. Once we got the good news back, it really was able to put us at ease. And now we knew for certain that there's nothing that could come up in the future that we'd have to be worrying about either.
I mean,
so.
I continue to pray that she will be just healthy, because I just don't take anything for granted anymore. I really don't. And I don't like to think, you know, put my mind in a negative spot, but at the same time, I don't want to take anything for granted. I don't know if that sounds bad.
No, I think that's what we were saying about being reserved, and that you kind of just keep your emotions a little bit more reserved, and you don't, you know, put it all out there just because you want to make sure everything's great. Yeah.
But we're happy. We're so excited, especially for you guys to meet her once she's here. I think it's gonna be amazing. I think the most amazing part, that's what I was gonna say, because oh my gosh, you guys were having such a hard time with Annabella trying to understand that there's a baby coming, but she knows. No, that she knows. It's just she does not want it.
Trying to prove that it's not necessary. I'm the baby.
Yeah, you don't need another baby.
So
I got you.
You have a perfectly great baby right here, and I'm not gonna be potty trained. No, I'm a baby. I want to wear diapers, and I'm not gonna give up my kiki or my binky. I'm a baby. Babies have binkies. I'm gonna go sleep in the crib that she never slept in. Well, no, I mean, when she was baby, she slept
in the crib, but now she's got a big girl bed, but she refuses to sleep in her big girl bed.
From the majority of the time before this pregnancy with Annabella, because she was still too little with the boys, I don't think she ever really fully understood then that you were pregnant. But for the majority of that time, she wanted to be a big girl. She was trying to do all the big girl things, wanted to go and play with the big girls. Now she's actually trying to say, hey, I'm the baby. And she wants us to treat her like a baby, and she pretends to cry like a baby.
She's currently napping in the crib.
Like a baby.
She's the baby.
So it's going to be a bit of an interesting
yeah, I can't wait to share that too. Just like how she reacts to everything. I'm excited to see it too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, because I feel like there's going to be some very similar behaviors with those two. So watching them grow up together is going to be a lot of fun. But it's gonna age me pretty quickly.
That brings us pretty much to the end of this video. I will say I posted on my Instagram, whoever follows me there, and you guys, if you guys commented on my picture, I think it was my last picture. I asked you how far along you thought I was. Okay, so I will show you my belly. If you can see. Yeah. Babe.
How far along am I?
This is the belly, and some of you guessed pretty right on. I will be 26 weeks this week. currently 25 weeks, and some of you guessed right on, so.
Wow.
Yeah. Somebody said 28 weeks, and I looked at Jarod and I'm like, oh my gosh. Do I look that big? That's pretty much it. I hope you guys are staying safe and hope you guys are all healthy. And hopefully you guys are all able to find food.
And toilet paper.
Toilet paper. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in our next one. Bye.